I did not know that was going to come out.
Party on party people. Let me hear some noise. DC's in the house. Jump for joy.
Derail. Is Steve Gloss in here? So we're back. We've been hopping in and out of the live podcast area all day, all weekend, really. Yeah. And as a special guest for us tonight, we've got Flynn Hendricks, who's been on earlier.
Hey now.
Flynn is promoting his I Know You Can Hear Me podcast. We're not really promoting anything. We're just guys who like to talk about Star Wars. And we've got a podcast, Rule of the Galaxy. Always follow us on Twitter at Rule of the Galaxy SW. So I'm going to throw this out to Flynn to start real quick. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask. There's a belt sitting here on this table.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I need to know more about this belt. So could you hit me?
Hey, don't you bring that F word in here. Don't you put that hate on me.
It's a 4-letter F word.
The Macho Man says it's not fake because the cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah. Bone saw's ready on this stage. Yeah.
Bone saw.
But no.
Yeah, you little spider freak.
Oh, anyway. It is a free-for-all. It is a free-for-all on the podcast
tonight. That it is. But let me tell you about this real quick. This is actually one of the longest reigning or most active titles in the state of Kentucky. It's been active for over 25 years for UCW, which is Ultimate Championship Wrestling. This is the Southern States Championship, which I am proud to hold and represent. And I'll actually be defending and taking this title into defense against the UCW Ultimate Heavyweight Champion this summer across the fair tour of Southern Kentucky and Northern Tennessee. So if you're in the area, get connected with me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go to linktree.com or linktree/TheFlynnHendricks for all my socials. Keep up with my dates. Come see me defend it. Come see me unify this with the Ultimate Heavyweight Championship and become the ultimate champion of the longest running promotion in the state of Kentucky.
Okay, so as you know, we talk a lot of Star Wars here.
Yes.
You're talking some wrestling stuff. What did you feel or have you thought about the Mandalorian season where they had the Gamorrean guards battling in basically a wrestling ring there?
Let me put it this way. If they ever cast for Ewok wrestling, I would gladly throw my name in the hat. Okay? I would do it.
Since you brought up the Ewok wrestling, I'm going to have to ask, because you said you're going to go up against the super heavyweight champion.
Yes.
Right? Is there a little bit of a mismatch coming on? Because when you say super heavyweight champion and you're calling yourself an Ewok, I'm thinking somebody my size who you're going to be wrestling.
Let me put it this way. I outthink and I outsmart a lot of people. So if the referee forgets to check me and something comes into play to help me win, I'm not going to say that size really matters at that point. So
like a lightsaber?
Lightsaber. I've had Star Wars themed gear too. So huge fan of the Empire and the dark side of things. So 100%. And as I was telling Ashley and David Eckstein over in the room, the Tano track jacket, it's close enough to my brand colors. I use blue and orange, blue and yellow. I rock that to the ring, so.
Okay, then this is freaking me out. The same jacket you're talking about, I have.
Yes.
And you're right now wearing the R2-D2 Adidas running shoes.
Absolutely.
Which I have as well. So we're like kindred spirits right here. Never met before.
Now, if only I could get the R2 watch they got out there on the sales floor, I'd be rocking the whole shebang.
Sounds like you should start wrestling, Joe.
I'm in the market for a new manager.
Wow.
This is your
Careful
hype
what you
man.
ask for.
I'll be
Careful
a hype
what you
man.
ask for.
Oh, I will be a hype man.
I do travel, so let's make it work.
This is the mouth from the South. He's
This
not
is
gonna
why
go,
we came here.
Absolutely.
He's not going to go Undertaker.
No.
That's not him.
Now
He's
wait.
the mouth from the South.
That's you.
I know.
Okay.
That's why I was doing it.
We're going to backtrack here because I know about this much about wrestling. Alfie, you were telling me the reason you got into wrestling is why? You after Monday Night Football. After Monday Night Football, man, deer in the headlights.
Tried to set you up.
You tried.
Segue.
I wasn't following the segue there. Yeah, we got into wrestling in college big time because, you want to keep that Monday night drinking going. And once football was over, we had to find something else. And Monday Night Raw, there it was.
There you go.
Hook, line, and sinker.
And let me tell you, when old Stone Cold gets on TV, you know we're going to crack open a few Steve Weiser. What?
Wow. I mean,
glass shattering. The glass shattering when he comes
It's
in.
iconic. It's iconic.
I get pumped when I hear it.
how we are merging the Star Wars and the wrestling right now is amazing. It's just like going ebb and flow right here.
Let me put you guys on the spot right here. You mentioned the Gamorrean wrestling in season 2 of The Mandalorian. What characters from the Star Wars universe do you guys think would have fit in the wrestling world?
Twi'leks.
Can
Male
I get
Twi'leks or
Can,
female
can I
Twi'leks?
get a little bit more of a? Can you
Female.
describe that?
Well, I mean, female
Female
Twi'leks would do well. I mean, they would draw a lot of viewers.
Very true. In certain matches that are long gone from a bygone era, you know. No disrespect intended, but you know.
I'm gonna say Wookiees. I'm gonna say Wookiees would be a perfect fit for the wrestling. I mean, we saw that in Solo.
Yeah.
With Solo and Chewbacca down in the pit, the mud pit.
I would love to see Chewbacca and Andre the Giant, but that's just me.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a contest. Chewbacca would.
I mean, yeah, Andre's going to come out without an arm, but he's still going to ask if anybody wants a peanut, so we all win.
Okay.
So
Star Wars characters in
What about-
wrestling for you guys.
What about robot wrestling? Is that a thing?
Well, we
Robots
saw
in
that.
wrestling?
We
Have
saw
you
that
seen
in
some
Solo as
wrestlers
well.
in the ring? They
That's what I'm
actually
saying.
look like robots.
So
yes.
like, IG-88 could be a
he
part of
can
it?
bro.
IG-11.
That's what you think until
IG
you're dead.
IG is a stick. He doesn't have like.
Okay.
His,
What about what's the droids
Okay.
in Rogue One? You know what I'm talking about? The
Oh,
one that's
K2SO.
K2SO. Yeah.
He
K2SO.
chokeslammed
Yeah,
him.
he was wrestling. Yeah.
He Jin or Cassian too. One of them like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give him a
Jen,
little
he
slap.
backhanded close
I'm
enough to a
talking
chop.
robot.
Okay,
battles.
you're gonna know
Not
this
robot
answer.
wrestling, yeah.
With Dr. Afra's assassin droid.
000.
000.
000.
000 would make a great wrestler.
Yes, he's so sadistic. He can be so conniving, but he can be so charming at the same time until he flips that switch. Great answer.
Thank you.
You said Wookiees already, but Karstanson.
Oh yeah.
Could
By
be.
Karstanson?
But he was.
I think he was.
that- he-
yeah,
that's
that's
Exactly
what
what
game
I'm
was.
saying.
job
He
was.
asked
Right.
the question, why would who
I
would fit
I
in
will
the-
say I may or may not have taken a page out of Chrysanthemum's playbook to retain this title a time or two, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
Okay, so we already know, like, we've seen some arenas in Star Wars. Obviously, the Mandalorian was a small little arena, like it was, you know, a throw it in your backyard kind of wrestling match.
Yep.
But Geonosis, the arena, how about the pod racing course?
Oh,
making
Is that even an arena?
well, but just all
one?
those that crowd right there.
racing.
I
Yes,
mean,
it is
let's
an
face it.
arena.
In Star Wars Visions, they did a rock concert.
okay,
there.
you were
is
gonna go
true.
there with it, but like it's not even really like
There's seats. You sit and
for
you
one
watch.
turn. For one turn.
I mean,
it's
there's
like
one
it's
turn
like
at
going
the
to watch
track.
Talladega, and you're only gonna be sitting on the.
They've
the
done
high
wrestling.
bank to-
They've done wrestling there. So.
and they've got the announcers with
okay,
the
fine.
ooh ah.
Lawyer. Yeah.
What about the Senate chamber? With all the
Yes.
pods?
book me there.
Great
Book
idea.
me there.
Senate chamber would be great, and we've seen a little bit of that between Palpatine and Yoda. I mean,
Yes.
it was almost an all-out wrestle right there.
The cool thing about the Senate chamber is then I would be able to take my pod and float around and get close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you're floating around in the pods, I'd be able to like hover around and
I
see,
mean,
see it from a different angle.
Who knows? You might even be in the pod next to the ET race. So
Correct.
bring the best of all worlds
Exactly.
together right there.
Exactly.
You could take your little pod and get snacks too,
Yes.
or cold drinks.
Right. You gotta make sure because you gotta make
keep
sure
the
we keep that
drinking
going.
Right, you gotta stay hydrated.
I'm feeling you're on a roll with the cold drinks, Alfie. I mean,
It's been a theme of the weekend.
yes, it has. Does everybody else like Alfie's Boba Fett yellow shirt right here? Okay.
That's Five Below.
Five Below. I mean, come on. Five Below always has great Star Wars T-shirts. That needs to be marketed more, right? I mean, it's hard to find good Star Wars stuff a lot of times out in the real world, not here at ICCCon. You can find anything, but Five Below does a great job.
You should talk about your shirt.
Yeah, this is from Obvious Shirts. Just here, right here, little Falcon outline by Obvious Shirts. If anybody's watching, it's a good little line they've got going on there.
Let's go ahead and give the full plug.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
go
plug
go
away.
give more details.
It's
give more
the
details,
Joey. It's a
please.
Joey Molinaro line, not me, my son. Joey Molinaro has a line. Obvious Shirts. You can get the Falcon right there. So Five Below, Obvious Shirts, good Star Wars shirts. Where else are we going? We've talked Adidas. We've talked belts. We've talked wrestling. Bring something. Bring the heat.
So I'm going to ask you a question. It's a
Fire
question.
away.
It is a question that we bring up on our podcast all the time. It's
Yes,
near and
please.
dear to my heart. I'm going to give you the
yeah.
background on the.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So you understand where we're coming from.
Jim knows where you're going on this.
You should. So back in the day, one of the first podcasts we've had, I wasn't on it, so they were all talking about Count Dooku, and in I think it's
Count.
Did I say Count?
You kind of shorten that word.
Count Dooku.
He went with the fancy
Count.
dialect
Okay,
on that one.
Count Dooku. So they're talking about Dooku, and on episode 3, and they were kind of making fun of him and calling him Stumpy because he gets his arms chopped off and then they lop his head off.
It's only a flesh wound.
And then they were talking about going into like Galaxy's Edge and looking at this lightsaber hilts. And they said, who would want to go get Count Dooku's lightsaber hilt? So that brought it up. The next time I got on, I had to defend my man, Count Dooku. I love Count Dooku. I love his hilt because he's got that regal style, that little curve, that he's got that elegant stance. Like, it fits his character. Which brings me to the question that I'm going to ask you. Is there a specific lightsaber hilt in the universe that you feel it would fit you or that you are drawn to that you like?
You've already sung the praises of my favorite hilt in the entire series, and that is Count
So
Dooku.
it is a Dooku hilt.
That is Count Dooku's.
Okay,
and
that's
I mean,
awesome.
I love the design, I love the curve, I love the elegance, I love the character, I love everything about him. I love the actor that played him.
Oh, Christopher Lee.
Just in the fact that we got more expansion on him in the Clone Wars to see more of his backstory, more of the conniving side than the book where you find out how he got to the Jedi. Just everything about him, like, and that saber is so different compared to everything else you get. It's so elegant, and like, I know Asajj Ventress had the dual,
Similar, right? Yeah.
but his looks so much better than hers because hers is like a bunch of Legos stuck together. But his is just so elegant. So I mean, that's my saber to a T.
Now I'm going to ask the next question. Have you been walking around? Did you see the cosplay Count Dooku that's here?
I did.
He's
I
well
a
done.
Beautiful saber too.
He does, but
and he looks just like Count Dooku.
I was disappointed that he didn't go full on and come with no hands. But you know, what can you do?
Selfish.
So I can say this for our Rule of the Galaxy followers. Our next T-shirt, we're talking about it, is going to be Count Dooku's saber inside of our logo. Nick and Brent are wearing our logo right there. The saber right in the middle of that has to be, because that's what we talk about. Like almost every other show is the Count Dooku's.
Well, because
hilt
somebody's coming
and
on.
lightsaber.
Somebody's coming on as a guest star. So
I will get one of those shirts and I will gladly wear it to the ring.
Oh.
I will plug you guys everywhere I go.
Oh, there we go. Challenge played
Yeah, so
right
we-
there.
we got to get obvious shirts onto it. See if we can get obvious.
Yeah,
shirts.
hobby shirts. Save me
Question
some money.
about the Dooku saber.
Sure.
Where did it go after Revenge of the Sith?
Oh.
Is it still in existence somewhere out there? Because Anakin picks it up and uses it.
Oh, that's right.
That was one of the ones that he used to
Yes,
slice the
but-
head off, right?
Does he not throw it down and just leave it on the ship after that to go and check on Obi-Wan after he frees the Chancellor? I think he throws it down.
Luke throws his lightsaber down and somehow has it again.
This is true.
And Yoda, we don't like. Let's talk about Yoda's lightsaber too. Like, we don't know if he still had it in the. There's been shot by shot breakdown of whether or not he left the Senate chamber with his lightsaber, but then we see it being offered to Grogu.
And I know,
Wow.
I know for that one, Luke
So-
goes on his quest to find all these artifacts. So maybe the Emperor had the clones pick it up that were scouring the chamber. But
We're going deep.
for that one, I don't know because you never see it again. But I love the fact that I would love the backstory that he kept it, as a memento too. Because again, best lightsaber in the entire franchise. Fight me.
I don't think he would have kept it. The only reason I think he wouldn't have kept it is because there was some shame attached to it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have killed him.
Very
Throwing
true.
it down on the ground actually might, because it's one of those like, I'm really glad Obi-Wan Kenobi was passed out.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing:
Do it.
Yeah.
would Palpatine have picked it up while Anakin was checking on Obi-Wan?
He was on to the next one.
Very true.
So go ahead,
Was
Alfie.
it still on the ship?
That's a fair question. You mean like when it crashed?
When it crashes?
It breaks in half.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember?
So the only
it
thing
could
that
have
crashes,
That's
the
true. It
only
would have
thing
been
that
on the
crashes
back
is the
end of the
bridge.
ship.
The only thing that crashes is the bridge, so the ship burns up in the atmosphere.
Do you guys realize how much time this weekend we've spent talking about the prequels? I mean, we're kind of older guys, except for you. You're a youngster. But the prequels keep coming up. And I think it goes back to the depth that you're talking about with the books, the Clone Wars. Count Dooku, to me, in the short time he was in there, was not built on enough.
Right.
But then the books and the Clone Wars made it to where Count Dooku became a more important, valuable character.
He made Qui-Gon a more important character too, because we understand where his mentality and his mindset and his view of the entire Jedi Order comes from.
I would say that I'm not a book reader. Like I always joke, if you heard of me earlier, I call it going to the dark side by diving into the books. because like there's so much more detail in there, and it does change your perception of the Star Wars world,
Yes.
right? We're all influenced, and my Star Wars is different from your Star Wars because I've been exposed and I've chosen to expose myself to different things.
Absolutely.
But 2 of the books that I have read, Master and Apprentice,
Yep.
which is really good, which goes into the Qui-Gon Jinn, but in the Qui-Gon story, they do talk about Count Dooku and his influence. And the other one would be Plagueis, which also goes into the book should really be called Darth Sidious. It shouldn't be called Plagueis, because 2/3 of the book is really about Palpatine, about our man Sheev. So those 2 books do a lot to give Dooku a background.
And you actually opened the door to a question that I was going to ask about y'all's thoughts on the novel Plagueis, where it's gone in and out of canon, legends, canon, legends, canon. But, I mean, like you said, it gives us more depth to the Emperor. He was a bratty, spoiled, entitled kid. He even killed people when he was just driving his speeder. Where is that in the movies? Because you see him as the friendly grandfather that becomes the puppet master.
He's become calculated.
Yeah, and then he gets referenced in episode 9 in the novelization. But, he references Plagueis. But what are y'all's thoughts on having a character like that and getting the backstory and finding out that it's still in process during the events of the Phantom Menace?
Yeah, you know what? Ian McDermott was on the stage over here today when he did it, and somebody actually asked him that question. They said, would you like to explore the depth of, Palpatine? And he said, yes, I would love to do that, but we would need a younger actor to come back and play me, and I would be all about it if they went and did it, to which I'm sitting there just...
And those rumors ran rampant 3 years ago before Rise of Skywalker came out with the clones. Yeah, the Matt Smith rumor and everything. And I'd be all for it.
So I will go, and this may be a hot take version, I will go with my headcanon after watching Attack of the Clones. When I heard the opera scene and I heard Palpatine talking about Darth Plagueis, my headcanon at the time, and it was that way until I read Plagueis, was that Darth Plagueis was somebody that was back in like Bane, Bane's time. Like we're talking not Bane,
Revan?
Yeah,
Bane.
Yeah.
Bane, Revan. We're talking Old Republic. I was thinking it was like some ancient Sith that he had just discovered. I knew he was a Sith, but somebody that he had just discovered. And then the book comes out and they're like, no, it's his master. So my headcanon was having a hard time grasping the fact that it was his immediate mentor versus somebody who I was thinking like this is somebody way back in the back.
Very fair.
Yep.
I enjoy that, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we brought our headcanon to this today. We can't thank Jim and Matt and the ECPCTV staff here at ICC-Con in Nashville. Rule of the Galaxy has loved every minute of it. It was great to meet you, Flynn.
Same to you guys.
I
as
will
well.
be your hype man.
Absolutely.
I will be that. You can count on it, and we'll get you a shirt so you can wear it to the ring.
I'll get you guys one of mine. And make sure if you're in the area, check out the UCW Fair Tour at the start of July. It's going all month. I'm going to be defending the Southern States title and competing for the Ultimate Heavyweight Championship. I want to have this guy in my corner hyping me up as I go. Check out the Rule of the Galaxy podcast and the I Know You Hear Me podcast. And I know you hear us.